Hello, my name is Matas. Today we're going to be making a creamy lemon chicken with an herbed couscous. It's super simple to make. You can make it on the weeknights, but it's still got that delicious restaurant quality. We're going to be using Ciarra Appliances Professional Range Hood paired with the Induction Cooktop. Their appliances are great if you want to make cooking simple at home. So these are the ingredients we're going to be using for the recipe today. We're using chicken breast, onion, garlic, all-purpose flour, chicken stock, heavy cream, water, butter, lemon, couscous, parsley, thyme, and Parmesan cheese. We're gonna start by dicing our onion. So we only need half an onion for this recipe, so I'm just gonna go ahead and slice this in half. We are using the Ciarra knives today. Right now I'm using the chef's knife. It comes in a midnight blue color, which is really nice. It actually matches our Beyond cookware that we're gonna be using in the recipe. So how I like to cut my onions is first I slice them in half, and then I cut this end off with the opposite of the eye. And then I'll peel it. First I'll start by cutting horizontally along the onion. I'll just do about 1/2-inch slices. And then I'll cut into it, also horizontally, but along the other way.
Vertically?
Vertically, yeah. And then I'll cut vertically along the onion. This just makes dicing it a lot easier. And then once I get to the end here and I get a little worried that I'm gonna cut my fingers, I'll just put it on its side and I'll do the same exact thing. We have like a loose layer here, so sometimes I just take this off. But yeah, I'll pretty much do the same thing, but I'll just do it vertically. And then you just have a really tiny piece to throw away instead of a bigger piece. So we're gonna need 1 clove of garlic for the couscous and then 3 cloves for the chicken. So we'll separate them. So I like to smash the garlic. It just makes it easier to cut. Peel just came like right off after I did that. Super easy. I'll just dice it up. Just do like a rough chop at first and then get more fine. All right, now I'm gonna do the 3 cloves for the chicken. So same thing, just smashing, taking them out. It's a lot easier than peeling them by hand every time. If I didn't get this one good enough, I'll just smash it a little more. I like to usually cut the ends off of the garlic, just so I don't end up chewing on one of those later in the final dish. And then I'll just start by doing a rough chop on all 3, and then I'll get more fine. Same thing, chop into a more fine consistency. All right, let's clear off our cutting board just so we don't have a mess here. Now I'm gonna grate the Parmesan into a bowl. We need around 1/2 cup, and this will be for the creamy lemon chicken. So grate it straight into this bowl. I'm just gonna eyeball it. I really like Parmesan cheese, so I'm gonna do a little more than 1/2 cup, but you can do as much as you would like. You can stay at 1/2 cup or go a little above, just depends on how cheesy you are. And I'm pretty cheesy. So we got around 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. Set that aside for now. We're just gonna chop up some parsley now. It'll be the garnish for the couscous and for the chicken. We don't need very much, just a little bit. What I like to do is I grab my knife usually and I'll just kind of chop away at the bunch and just get a good amount onto the cutting board. Grab it, roll it up, just so it's easy to chop. I like make this like roll pretty much. And any loose ones I'll just put underneath the back and just give it a good chop. All right, so I grabbed a plastic cutting board. I just don't like cutting raw meat on wooden cutting boards. I feel like it stays in the board itself, so I grabbed a plastic one. So now we're just gonna cut the chicken breast in half so we can get a more even cook. Some people like to pound it. That also works. I just wanted to do this so that we could keep the uniform consistency without breaking up too much of the proteins inside. I usually just start by placing it and then going along the chicken horizontally. And then you're left with 2 pieces that are a little flatter. They'll cook more evenly and not be dry chicken breasts like people usually end up with. We're gonna season these really quick with salt and pepper while we cook the couscous. So it'll just sit with the seasoning. Just a little bit of salt and pepper on each side. I have this really nice salt well. It's from Lithuania. It's where my family's from. And we love chicken out there, so maybe that's why I like this dish so much. We have this pepper grinder. We've had it since I was a kid. It's by Peugeot, who makes cars, but they also make pepper grinders, which a lot of people don't know. Kind of weird, it's like cars and pepper grinders. I think they also used to make like military weapons, but I think they mostly just focus on cars and pepper grinders now. It's a very fine pepper, but it's there, believe me. Other side. So we're just gonna let this sit for now and we'll start making the couscous. All right, we're gonna start with the onion and the garlic. For the couscous, we'll just turn on the Ciarra cooktop, put it on like medium low. I don't wanna scorch the onions. I just want them to caramelize slowly, and then we'll add in the couscous after. So I put it on 4 for now. Gonna add around 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Let it heat up a little bit until it's just shimmering a bit. So today we're using the Ciarra Beyond Cookware. This is the saucepan. I really love these pans. They're really quiet on the range hood, which isn't typical. A lot of other pans will make a lot of noise. They also come in this awesome color, which matches the knives that we have. So if you buy the cooktop and you want some knives, you can buy the knives to match. So that's great. All right, so the oil has heated up. So now we'll go ahead and add in the onions. Just gonna stir them in so the olive oil doesn't burn and it gets all over the onions. I'm just gonna let this sit for a couple minutes and then we'll add in the garlic. And the whole house is about to start smelling like delicious onions. The cooktop is doing a great job of regulating the temperature so we don't burn the onions. So they're sitting at like a really nice temperature and caramelizing slowly. So the Ciarra Induction cooktop also has this larger flex zone. If you're using like a large Dutch oven or a griddle that's induction compatible, you can actually use this whole length of this side and the other side. You can use this whole length to cook your food. So we're getting some steam off of the onions, so I'm just gonna turn on the professional range hood. Default setting is 3. We're not getting too much right now, so I'm just gonna drop it down to 1. So the professional range hood actually has these awesome baffle filters. They come out very easily and you can just pop them in your dishwasher when they're dirty and dishwash them and then just put them back in and they're ready to go. Also got this light, has 2 different settings. So right now it's on full blast, but there's a off mode and level 1 and level 2. So you can see what you're doing on the cooktop. All right, so the onions are looking nice and soft. You can see them just gliding on this pan. So we're just gonna go ahead and add the garlic. You wanna add the garlic later just so it doesn't burn. I mean, the pieces are a lot smaller than the onion and they cook differently, so you just really wanna bring out the aromatics of the garlic. And just mix it with that olive oil, just for a minute or 2. Just to get that scent going and the flavors. Up next, we're gonna add the dry pearled couscous. We're gonna add it in and just stir it up for a little bit, get a little toast on the outside, and then we'll continue cooking. Stir it up. So the couscous will absorb a lot of that olive oil, and our goal is to just make it slightly browned. It turns out the nuttiness of the side, and it's overall got great flavor. So just let it sit for a little bit. While it's sitting, we're just gonna go ahead and add salt. It's really up to you how much you wanna use. I think salt brings out the flavor, so I'm gonna add a solid amount, maybe 2 teaspoons. Maybe a little less. Just gonna stir it again. You can see nothing sticking to the bottom. These pans have like a really nice ceramic coating on them. And the cooktop is just doing a great job at evenly heating everything. And we've got the tri-colored couscous, so we've got a lot of really, really nice colors going on in here. So we'll let that just sit for a little bit longer. Get that toast on the couscous, and then we'll go ahead and add the water. I'm just gonna toss it just to get an even toast on the couscous. Since I was tossing it, I'm just gonna make sure the onions go back down since they were getting on the sides. So right here I have a cup of water. We're in total gonna add a cup and a half. So that's a cup. We're gonna add half a cup. We're gonna throw in 1 sprig of thyme and 1 bay leaf. Throw in the bay leaf. Just give it a quick stir so everything is submerged and part of the simmer. So now we're gonna bring it to a boil, so I'm just turning the temperature up a bit. And once it hits a boil, we're just gonna reduce it to a simmer and let it cook for about 10 minutes. So as you can see, we're at a boil now. You can see the steam rising and it's going directly into the vents. Now we're gonna reduce it to a simmer, so I'm gonna put it on 3 on the cooktop, and we're gonna cover it. All right, now we're gonna cover it and just let it simmer for about 10 minutes. All right, we're gonna start working on the chicken while the couscous simmers. So first thing we're gonna do is we're going to take our flour and we're just going to put it in I'm using a pie sheet. You just want like an even surface where you can dredge the chicken breast pieces. So I'll do a thin layer on the bottom because sometimes it's hard to coat the top. So I'll just grab one piece, set it in, and then just cover it. Spread it evenly, and then we can flip it. It's just easier to grab this way and your hands don't get super dirty. All right, so we're gonna start by putting 1 tablespoon of butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the Ciarra saute pan. We're gonna turn the heat on medium, around 4 on the cooktop. Just wait for the butter to melt. The chicken, I'm just gonna shake off any excess flour and just set it aside for now while we wait for this olive oil and butter mixture to heat up. So I'm gonna shake this just to get an even coating on the bottom again. Place the chicken, grab the rest of the all-purpose flour, just coat it on the top, cover it as much as possible, and then we'll just do the flip, try to get everything coated. Pretty easy. And this will just give the chicken like a nice crispy texture. We want to make sure to work in batches so that we don't overcrowd the pan. This is just to make sure that the chicken cooks evenly. So it looks like the couscous is all done. All the liquid has been absorbed. So we're gonna take out the bay leaf and the thyme sprig. I actually can't see the thyme sprig right now, but we'll find it. So I'm just gonna use some tongs and grab the bay leaf. I think I see the thyme. Hopefully you got a lot of that flavor. We're gonna add in 1 more tablespoon of olive oil with the wooden spoon. There you go, you have like some really nice couscous. So now I'm just gonna let this sit while we work on the chicken, and then once that's all done, we'll have to try it. So since the chicken is sliced pretty thin, I'm going to turn the temperature up a little bit just so we can get a quick sear and the crispy edges while it cooks through. This saute pan is really great at distributing heat, so it should cook evenly very easily. So I set it to 6, and that will be high enough to get that nice sear. All right, so now we're just gonna let that sit. So you can see how non-stick this pan really is. Everything's just kind of gliding around, which is really nice. You can see that the edges of the chicken are starting to change color, so we're almost ready to flip. All right, so it looks like we've got some brown edges, so I'm just gonna go ahead and flip the chicken now. So as you can see, we've got like this nice crust on one side. We're just gonna let the other side cook now. All right, now the chicken's looking done, so we're just gonna grab it and transfer it onto a plate. Now we're gonna add another tablespoon of butter to what's already in here. So I'm just making sure that butter's melted. We're gonna go ahead and throw in the garlic, let it saute for a minute just to get those aromas and that flavor out. Mix it with a wooden spoon. So usually you would have like a lot of stuff on you'd have a lot of stuck bits on the bottom, but since this pan has like this really nice non-stick coating, it didn't stick. All right, now we're gonna add the chicken stock. Give it a quick stir. All right, now we're gonna add in the heavy cream. We're gonna add the juice of 1 lemon. And then we're gonna add the Parmesan cheese. Now we're just gonna let the sauce gently simmer for a few minutes. Cool. So for serving, we're just gonna slice up some lemon. All right, so it's simmered for a few minutes. Now we're just gonna add some salt and pepper for taste. Give it a stir. Tastes good. All right. Wow, the lemon really comes through on that. That's delicious. Okay, now we're gonna add the chicken back. And we'll use the spoon just to sauce the chicken. I'm just gonna add in the parsley now. And we'll add in a few lemon slices just to bring out some more of that bright flavor. Give it a quick stir. Looks great. All right, we're all done cooking, so it's time to eat. Let's start by getting some couscous on the plate. It's all done. Color looks great. And then we'll grab one of the chicken breasts. Looks great. The lemon, the parsley, everything. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit more of that sauce on top, that creamy lemon sauce. And maybe we'll grate just a little bit more Parmesan, because I love Parmesan. And that's it, time to try it. That's really good. Sauce is super creamy. Lemon's really bright, came through. Let me try that couscous. Also great. The onion, the garlic, it's all great. I would definitely serve this to a significant other, to my friends. That's a great dish to make, and as you can see, it was super easy. With the help of the Ciarra appliances, super easy job, and Ciarra makes great appliances. I definitely recommend giving them a shot if you want to cook at home simply, quickly, and efficiently.